Here's the thing about Germany, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart,
The purpose of knowledge, of course, is to relieve human suffering. That's the only purpose for knowledge, awareness, to relieve human suffering. If you're learning something and it is not relieving the suffering in your life, and not just suffering like a medical suffering or legal suffering or something like that, but just the discomfort in your life. Look, I want to learn how to cook better. So you go get a book on recipes, and the recipe book eases your suffering of not being able to cook. This is the point of knowledge. So let's get right into it. Part of the reason for you being here today has to do not only with, an empowering conversation, meaning that when you leave here today, you should be a little more aware about hip hop, maybe even about yourselves, than you were when you first walked in here. The other part to this is to explain the concept, or a concept, called the Temple of Hip Hop. One of the reasons why, this gathering here has been going on for about 30 years. Since hip hop's very beginnings, we marked the beginning of hip hop in 1973, Cedar Park, with Cool DJ Herb. But when we really started to organize ourselves and get ourselves together, realizing that we were unique in the world, this happened around 1985, 1986. And around that time, we started meeting in small gatherings just like this. No more than 50 people, really, no more than that. But those who were serious about putting hip hop together as a sustainable lifestyle. We didn't have the word culture in our mouths yet in 1985 regarding hip hop. We were just trying to sustain it because people kept telling us it ain't gonna last for 3 more years. Even in 1985, even after Run DMC in 1983, you got the Sugar Hill Gang, 79, 80, 81, all the Sugar Hill label, Treacherous 3, Funky 4+1, more Sugar Hill Gang, and all of that. Even with all of that, even with Def Jam and the rise of LL Cool J in 1984, Run DMC in 83, even with all of that, people were still saying in 1985, 1986, that hip hop would not last but more than, they kept saying 3 more years. So we started to get together to organize how we might preserve ourselves. And this is where the elements started to come into play. This is when we started to look at hip hop as a repeatable science, as something that wasn't haphazard and random, but that's something that we can put together as a repeatable science. This is where, actually in our history, Zulu Nation comes up with breaking, MCing, graffiti art, DJing, knowledge, and overstanding. This is the knowledge of Zulu Nation, Africa Bambaataa. This is what they put down in 74. In 1985-86 is when we started to look at ourselves as a culture and started to look at ourselves as a repeatable science and started to come up with breaking, MCing, graffiti art, DJing, knowledge and overstanding as the principal elements of hip hop. These elements went on, breaking, MCing, graffiti art, DJing, knowledge, overstanding. That was Zulu Nation's idea of hip hop in the beginning. It was really all of our idea of hip hop in the beginning, but it was at Zulu Nation meetings that these ideas came about. This is when the idea came out. We took it further because no one really saw hip hop as an actual culture, like to say, Jamaican, Greek, Italian, Colombian, Korean, a culture, distinct cultures. No one was interested in hip hop as that. People still aren't to this day, even. But in 1986, 87, this is what we started to put forward. Hip hop as its own civilization. Hip hop as a new people on the planet. This was very controversial and still is for some people. to actually establish a new nation on the earth with what we are doing. Why do we even believe that we can do that? Well, because when you look back on history, you'll see that all of the elements of hip-hop what went into hip-hop: song, dance, fashion, language, some sort of a trade. All of this is what created every culture that we have in existence today. All of it. All cultures are created in this same way. What's the way? A group of people get together, start singing a song. Imagine that. A group of people get together, start singing a song. That song becomes so popular that the children that hear the song from their grandparents and parents and great-grandparents, they hear the song, that song becomes their history. That history becomes their repeatable culture. That becomes their mythology. That becomes the meaning of them. You go back to any culture, most begin in song. Most. If not song, it is art or a story that was told. There was never a day where people got together and said, today is the day we're going to create Rome. Today is the day we're going to create Ghana. No, these things are cultivated over many years, many generations, until one generation realizes what it is. Hip-hop has the opportunity to be that generation, to be that function in the world, to realize itself. Unique from every other culture in the world. Unique. When you say hip-hop in the world today, people don't think about black culture. People don't think Asian. Sure, you can turn on the TV, and on the TV you turn it on and you see all kind of people doing hip-hop, but mostly it's black males rapping. That's what people say, oh, that's hip-hop. But when you go in the world, hip-hop takes on the form of whatever culture it finds itself in. And those who take on the culture of hip-hop are usually rejected by their own culture. All over the world, the people that are gravitating toward hip-hop are those whose culture have already rejected them. Most people are, how would I say, most people, they experience their culture by way of habit and tradition. And if anything comes along to break habit and tradition, they become afraid or hostile toward it. But there are some people within that same community that share a basic love for a specific thing. This is what I'm trying to explain. How is it possible that in all the cultures of the world, there is a specific group of people that can break, MC, do graffiti art, DJ, and do it the way we did it in the Bronx? They never been to the Bronx. All they got to do is look at it. Everybody can see hip hop. Everybody can see our elements. We doing it. We rapping. Just because you see a rapper doesn't mean that you can rap. How is it that somebody can look? Somebody can look at someone rapping. Someone, I could be in the Bronx rapping, and someone in Indonesia can see me do that and then do it themselves. The guy next to them couldn't do it. He saw the same thing. The girl next to him couldn't do it. She saw the same thing. But out of 5 people that saw this guy rap, one of them can do it. One of them steps out and says, yo, what I just saw, dude was just breaking on the floor right there. Wow, I think I can do that. I think I can be that. This is special because we're inundated with cultures all hours of the day. You go to Chinese, eat Chinese food, you're embracing Chinese culture. Not the whole culture, but you're at the doorway. You go get a pizza, you got a little Italian on it. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We see cultures everywhere. We're not trying to be them. You're embraced with culture all over the place, especially if you live in the United States or in one of the bigger cities. Culture going by you every day. You don't feel that you can be any of these cultures. Especially how eclectic this place is. But this is the point. This is the point. Everybody from all over the globe comes to Vegas. The globe comes to Vegas. But how is it that we see all this culture, we say, no, I know I can't do that. I know I can't be that. Oh man, I know that's not me. I may respect it, no doubt. I may enjoy it for the moment I'm there, but I know that's not me. Hip hop ain't like that. Somebody see the culture, they immediately go, wait a minute, that's me. No, but wait a minute, you're in Zimbabwe. How can that be you? I'm in the Bronx. Well, wait a minute, you in Australia? How are you hip hop? You in Australia? Take it even further. What I'm showing you is the culture, the existence of the culture. We got to start here first. Take it further. Beyond music, hip hop, beyond music. How is it possible that every other music genre, jazz, R&B, rock, gospel, reggae. Take R&B for instance. R&B, you can sing about anything and your audience never holds you accountable for it. This is why we can't say hip hop is music. Rap is the music. Hip hop is the culture. Here's why. R&B can say, anything. R&B can sing about adultery. Yeah. You, me, and she. What we gonna do? Hey, you got these little old school for some reason. But it's me and Mrs. Jones and all of these type of songs. R&B come up to it all the time. Then you see the R&B artist in a supermarket. The R&B artist is just chilling in the supermarket trying to buy something. Probably got his or her daughter, son, probably with family. I'm just a regular dude right now. I know I sang that song, but here I am now just buying cheese and bread. No one in the supermarket goes, yo, that's the adulterer right there. That person there, they into adultery, man. They sing about that. No one holds it. Reggae, gospel, you can just say all kinds of stuff. Your audience doesn't hold you accountable for it. But now you get to hip hop. Every word out of your mouth, especially if you're a rapper, you better be real to what you say. Authentic, or eventually you're gonna get caught and you don't want to be in that position. Many dudes caught on stage. I'm the number one lyricist all over the world. Then you in a cypher with some real spitters. And then you realize, oh, wait a minute. With hip hop, we have to be accountable to everything we say. Somebody say, yo, I'm a gangster. Dudes is expecting you to live that life. Dudes say, yo, I'm an intellectual. And hip hop says, we're expecting you to live that life. Yo, I'm a player, man. I'm just a player, man. Hip hop looks and expects you to live that out. That's not a music genre. That's a culture. That's a group of people holding another group of people to a certain idea. This idea has to be authentic or you're not authentic. Gospel don't have to be authentic. People still respect the artist for his or her voice, his or her song, the spirit they laid down. That person can get right up out the choir and go commit the heinous acts. And I'm not bringing anything up here. I'm just saying. Just as you sing in a choir, you don't have to be holy to sing in a choir. Okay? And the same thing with a whole bunch of other music genres. We're not a music genre, we're a culture. Our culture may even be genetic when you go back to how every race, every class, every genre can do what we do. A certain group of people in every race on earth can do what we do. This is where you start with hip hop. This is where you start right here. Not in music, but in culture, in consciousness, in community. Let's go forward. Because what I just told you would take about 5 years for the average person to experience. And what did I just tell you? Here's what I'm telling you. Rap is something that is done. Hip hop is something that is lived. I'm showing you the differences between hip hop, the life, and rap, the music. Hip hop, the life, creates rap, the music. Rap does not create hip hop. Hip hop creates rap. I was just explaining today, a couple of our crew was out, we were just talking, and I reminded everyone again, the secret to success, those that have ears to hear it right now. The secret to success in our culture is to realize that people are not interested in you. They're interested in hip hop. Hip hop is what we are interested in. Those that get closer to that get closer to success, get closer to stardom. Most people believe it's all about them. And they say, I'm going to represent hip hop. So I'm going to do my best. And it's about me. And let me show you my name and my things and that's why you're hitting that ceiling, can't go any further. The minute you say, all right, let me put me to the side real quick, just for a hot minute. Let me serve hip hop. Serve hip hop, what does that mean? Let me be loyal. Let me put this concept ahead of my career. Instead of me trying to be large in hip hop or be successful in hip hop, let hip hop be successful in me. Let me take hip hop in and become it first before I get any money, any fame, any recognition first. Let me master one or two of these elements, and I mean master them. You are MC, every 4 bars, the 4th bar should have the crowd screaming. That's the standard. You don't just rhyme, yo, I'm rhyming. 8 bars go by, we just looking at you? Nah. Every 4 bars, that's what you want. You a DJ, every 2 songs you throw on one, get it ready, and this one right here, the place is going on. You throw it on, get the next one ready, here we go. I've mastered my craft. Anything that you master in life, you are instantly successful at it. Thus, the wealth. This is the formula. Mastery raises your self-worth. Nothing else. Nothing else. Mastery. Any one thing you master is going to raise your self-worth. Any one thing you master, you perfect. Any one thing that you perfect is going to pay you. Hear what I'm saying? It's mastery that people pay for. It's perfection that people pay for. It's superior skills that people pay for. Instead of saying, I'm going to be this or that in hip hop, again, devote your life to, instead of hip hop trying to make you something, make hip hop something. The minute you work for hip hop and you make hip hop something, you'll notice your success going through the roof. We discovered this years ago. There's two ways to be successful in hip hop. One, the corporations pick you up. And that's a legitimate way of being successful too, by the way. That's legitimate. You so nice on the mic, your DJ, your beats are so hot, your graph skills is crazy, whatever it is. Some corporation comes by and be like, yo, I'll give you $1 million for that. Here's 100,000, first installment, just say yes. If your skill can bring you that, please, by all means, get it. But that's far and few. Everybody don't get that. What about the rest of us? What do we do?